Welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicky and today I want to ask you, do you find yourself rushing through life like you're racing against the clock, listening to all these motivational, talking head entrepreneurs telling us to do more, sleep less, hustle hard and get shit done now? They give us that feeling that we've got to be sprinting all the time, but these hustle voices aren't actually going to lead us to the stuff we actually want: the life, the money, the career, and the recognition. That kind of constant striving can only lead to burnout. And burnout is not a joke, it's not a status symbol or just another way to say, I need a rest. It can negatively impact your health for real. This significant rise in this culture of putting work above everything else and putting everything you have into working hard, known as hustle culture, this lifestyle teaches people that overworking is the only way to earn respect, whether it would be from others or yourself. We don't rise and shine, but we rise and grind, following Instagram accounts with the names like Motivation Mafia or Achieve the Impossible. Hitting likes on posts exhorting us to push through the pain and keep our eyes on the prize. We boast of how many hours we worked compared to how few we slept. We answer emails at 8, 9, and 10 p.m. If you're not putting every possible minute of the day into something productive, you don't have what it takes to be successful. If you're not overworking, are you even working? One of the biggest issues with the hustle culture is that it only looks in the future, which means that people are missing out on living in the present. Everything we want and need is in the future. Now, we are more like robots who live the same day over and over again. We barely wake up after hitting the snooze button too many times, checking social media notifications, brushing teeth, going to the bathroom, and scrolling through social media again. And this is how we get ready for the day. We grab an unhealthy breakfast from a fast food place, which we often consume on the go, either on the train or in the car. We rush to commute to our job or co-working space, and the ride takes a significant time of our day. We then spend the day working and scarfing down meals in between meetings. When we finally finish working, because let's be real, we tend to check our email after working hours. We go home, eat something, and if we are one of the lucky ones, we don't have to continue working from home. We then go to sleep and do it all over again the next day. This type of routine is quite typical for people stuck in 9 to 5 jobs, but many entrepreneurs tend to favor and promote it as well. It is exhausting, but hey, at least you get shit done.
I'm proud of you.
And you'll get your break someday, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
But why? Why are we doing it? Maybe because we are afraid of being behind financially, being behind professionally. The comparison is real. And we've got what it feels as infinite number of people to compare ourselves to. As a result of having social media and Instagram squares as our window to the world. Or we feel like we have something to prove to our parents, friends, colleagues, to us, and that we haven't made it until we hit a certain financial milestone. Or we aren't successful until we have a certain amount in our bank account, or a specific title, or any number of other things. It seems like everywhere I go, people are suffering from the hustle culture pandemic. The collective pressure we currently seem to feel as a society to work harder, faster, stronger, to grind and exert ourselves to our maximum capacity every day, to accomplish our goals and dreams with a lightning speed which matches the digital environment we have built around us, instead of it helping us to slow down because it's way faster and more effective than we do. What we weirdly do is trying to keep up with its speed, and that is impossible. Don't get me wrong, working is important, regardless if you work for someone else or for yourself. You have to be responsible and do your work consciously. While I was growing up, I firsthand witnessed the value of being persistent towards your dreams, never giving up, and constantly striving for a better life. I got my first job when I was 15. While my classmates were spending the summer holidays on the beach, traveling and having fun, I was working. I was working 14 hours a day. I kind of felt obliged because I wanted to help my family since my parents were struggling to make enough money to satisfy my teenager needs. I guess that many of you could recognize themselves in this example. We cannot just sit around waiting for our circumstances to improve without putting in the work and the effort. I totally got that. But how much of our work is genuinely productive and how much of it is an addiction of being busy. With that being said, I'm seriously questioning whether hours clocked in equal output produced. In both corporate and entrepreneurial worlds, I have watched people who run around like chickens with their heads cut off, rushing from one meeting to another, feverishly checking off tasks, and not making much time for other than work and other productive activities. Needless to say that under these circumstances, self-care is being neglected. Like me, I prescribed to hustle culture, especially when I was working at startup and middle-sized tech companies. There were times when I hated the sound of the alarm and the thought of leaving the bed felt like a torture. I was definitely not excited to start my days. I used to commute about 3 hours a day, and I was trying to optimize my time at work and otherwise, and not only to get stuff done, but just to hustle. Then I got these blank moments when I couldn't seem to finish any tasks simply because I was overloaded, unmotivated, and super exhausted. To be hustle means failing to set boundaries between your work and personal life. And as a result of this, my balance was way too off and I got depression. And soon after, my depression turned into a burnout. We must admit that the hustle culture is a lie, but the burnout is real. Yes, the burnout is real. The World Health Organization defines it as a syndrome conceptualized as a chronic workplace stress which has not been successfully managed. Burnout causes employees to have a pessimistic approach to work. They experience lack of motivation and energy to work, and in turn, a decline in their work productivity. Conscious work is necessary, but overworking yourself to the point where you do not have a second for yourself is not. When working in a fast paced environment, regardless of where you work, your employer will claim it as a fast paced workplace. There's always an emergency that requires you to put in additional time in odd hours. The company culture will eventually become toxic if employees consider every single task as a high priority. Hustle culture also breeds toxic competition among employees. While healthy competition can motivate employees to do better, if they're taught that hustling is the only way to earn promotions and get better opportunities, healthy competition will eventually turn into a battlefield with everyone trying to hustle harder than the rest to bring others down. Unfortunately, many companies encourage hustle culture and it's considered normal the hustle culture to match with the company culture and vision. Many employers think that the more competition they create and the more pressure they put on their employees, the better for the company. Since many people will try to overwork their colleagues, aiming for promotions and better compensations. This is especially valid for the commission-based roles. Many firms make this on purpose. The more projects and work you could handle, the more they will give you, hence making more profit. But the extra effort you put in will not always result in a higher compensation. This could hamper companies' overall productivity, but very few realize this. And I recently started questioning myself how I even got there, adapting the hustle style of living, and why is it so hyped and common in the work environment I was in. Part of the hustle culture is making yourself a work machine. In this effort to automate and optimize your life, there is this need to quantify results, like literally measuring everything from the hours you have worked to the ounces of water you've had to the amount of sleep you get at night. I see this precedent in tech industry where companies and tech people are constantly measuring things like, are we on target? Did we accomplish enough stories this sprint? Is our project slash company progressing fast enough? And while measuring is great at that, it helps us to make sense of the ambiguity in the data-driven world, it can easily make us get off track by focusing too much on the quantity and sacrificing the quality of work. Since the earliest days of tech, the notion of play bar, work so enjoyable that is interchangeable with leisure, has become the dream for many. From there, it spiraled in all directions. Hobbies became something to monetize. Wellness became a duty to your workplace, and most importantly, if you love your work, it follows that your colleagues are your intimates, your family, which is why a company like USTWO Games like to call itself a fampany. A lot of these companies' websites use the word family, trying to attract employees using this concept. And meanwhile, companies like Facebook and Apple have offered act freezing to their employees, suggesting that they may prefer having a real family if they work for a fake one. The tech companies and not only make up for the 100-hour working weeks, offering different perks like hot meals, colorful sofas, and all kinds of entertainment options like ping pong, fitness, wellness, and more. I see so many people feeling guilty when taking breaks and working fewer hours than their colleagues. Since the tech companies don't promote breaks, it is rather normal for people to eat their lunch at their desks, in most cases provided by their companies, so that they don't even have to leave the office building, thus working more than they should. And many people fool themselves that they're actually saving lunch money. If the employers actually cared about their staff, they would surely say it with proper working conditions and not with fruit and hot meals. But there is even a dicier subtext here. When what you eat becomes your boss business, they're buying more than your time. They're buying your whole self. This attachment to the hustle is doing us more harm than good. It turns out that 79% of the people are aware that burnout exists. 16% have heard about the burnout but don't really know what it is, while 5% have no clue. The countries which are most affected by burnout are the US, UK, followed by Spain, Germany, and France. Working too hard is costing us our mental and physical health on so many levels, and still, very few people realize this. What would life be like if you slow down just a little? I truly believe that you can have a fulfilling career, earn abundantly, and have time to do what you love. In a world which is inundated with distractions, busyness, and addiction to hustling, there is a merit in taking a step back and looking at the big picture. What would life be like if you slow down just a little? If you took time while waking up, scheduled breaks for self care, were fully present when you were with your loved ones, and made your working hours as productive and as focused as possible so that you could have less of them. Sometimes it's better to take a step back so that you can take two steps forward. Instead of incrementally plowing through life and being forced to slow down when you inevitably burn out. Whether you're pursuing a career with a company or are an entrepreneur is irrelevant. We hustle too much, and it's killing our focus and productivity. We are not like the machines we have built, and the evolution is going to take a while, a few thousands of years at least, to catch up our biological bodies with the hyper-connected, lightning speed, automated digital environment that we have created. In the end of the day, we are human, which means that we need to eat, sleep, pee, and find fulfillment and meaning in our life. And we cannot do that if we are filling every single pocket of time with a task so that we could build our empire faster. Take your time, take care of yourself, and whenever you find yourself rushing through life, take a step back and ask, why the rush? Life is all about balance. You don't always need to be getting stuff done. Sometimes it's perfectly okay and absolutely necessary to shut down, kick back, and do nothing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any other interesting videos like this.